Welcome, everyone, to tonight's episode of Dark Age of Camelot, State of the Game. Appreciate you hanging out. Bloodcore, you're here already in chat. Happy as always. Good to see you, brother. Tonight, we are joined by special guest Seahole, who will be giving us some perspective on his recent experience playing Dark Age of Camelot, coming back during the Tales by Torchlight segment. Coming up, we're going to go over the latest event updates, the Tales by Torchlight interview segment, stats from this past week from Excedio, community spotlight, and then at the end, we've got time for suggestions, or if people want to join the stream stage and official Dark Age of Camelot Discord, you are most welcome, and we can talk about whatever's on your mind. That being said, the event is still in from last week when we talked about it. The magic orbs are still there for the frog drops. Enemy heads continue to drop from player kills, and the trophy hunting quest is still active. The 50% bonus on Ywain and Gaheris is still live, and EV is still in PvP mode, mortared rule set for the duration of the event. The rest of New Frontiers is still in the traditional RVR mode, so if PvP is not your thing, you can still go elsewhere and play, but most people seem to be enjoying the event so far. We'll see a little bit later. There's actually been an uptick in characters that have been playing. Hey, Cables, good to see you, man. The Blood for the Key quest is still slay 20 enemies while grouped or 5 enemies while solo. The quest auto-completes, auto-renews, and awards a Mournful King key when completed. And then there's another quest called the King's Key on EV, where you defeat the Mournful King in the center of EV. Quest also auto-completes, auto-renews, and awards a key to see the Mournful King when it completes. And killing players spawns the Mournful King on EV. Also still in is the crystals. The dark crystals are back on EV, so you can go pick those up. They do not have anything to do with keys. They are just there to draw people out and help spur on action. And then the Nevermore Pony camps are still out there as well on EV. Slaying one will award realm points and a chance drop of a keyword being there, I guess, chance, because some people have had really good luck and some people have not. And you can earn realm points from killing Nevermore ponies as well, as long as you are either solo or 2, 3, 4, or 5 characters in a group. As soon as you hit 6, you no longer earn realm points for killing the ponies. We talked last week during the Ponder this segment about what can we do as players to kind of make things better. And I mentioned that, in the future, we'd be taking a look at a returning players guide update and what do I need to do to be ready for RVR on Ywain. And then also new to the list this week is, character planner, where art thou? Because right now Excedio is all we got. It's still from patch 1.123, which came out quite a long time ago. There's been a lot of changes. So I'll be pondering on this topics some more in the future. And tonight we have the Tales by Torchlight interview, and the topic is going to be why new and returning players leave the lost mid-game of Dayak, featuring special guest Seahole. Can you hear us, brother?
Yep. Hey, everybody.
Yep. Welcome to the stream, man. Thanks for joining. This is really awesome to have you here. Thanks for reaching out and wanting to provide some perspective on how things are and what your experience is, because I'm honestly at a disadvantage there. I'm not a new or a returning player. I took a really long break when the wife and I had kids, but then I came back in 2020 and haven't left since. So I'm coming in at 5 years of still being around. And we had kind of chatted a little bit offline to kind of spur some thoughts and whatnot. And I thought you had some really interesting feedback that would be good to share. And I kind of titled it The Missing Mid Game, because that's, to me, it kind of felt like where you were coming from seemed like the level 1 to 50 is pretty streamlined, has been for quite some time. Whether you go through the quests and do it yourself, be it PvE side or in Battlegrounds, or you can buy the token with Mithril to just get a character to level 50 right away. I think that's about $20 US microtransaction to do that. Or people have level 35 tokens out there that are pretty low cost on the marketplace in housing, and you start at level 35 and just go to Molvik and then roll through, and it takes people about 3 hours. Or there's even level 50 tokens that people trade game time cards for as well. I think is the going rate is about a 1 month game time card for a level 50 token. So it's a little bit less than the microtransaction price if you do it direct through the store with that level of convenience. But getting to 50 doesn't really seem to be the problem. And I'm interested to kind of hear your feedback on just that 1 to 50, or if you experienced that when you came back.
Yeah, so just to give a little context into who I am and where I'm coming from, I played with my brother the day after release, probably for about 3 or 4 years. Got to 45 after about a year and a half. Did pygmy camps in Lyonesse. It's Albion and Merlin way back when. Kind of fell off after a little while, and coming back to continue what I used to love. Obviously, it's a very different game from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, but it's still at heart the same game. My brother and I did do RVR. He had another account. He had a minstrel he would just run all over the place, slaughter people with. Now, one of the big things that I noticed when I came back, the tutorial obviously is brand new. From my perspective, it's probably been there for 15 years. It's great. 1 through 10 drops you off, and all right, you're in the game world. At that point, obviously, you're in, I guess, Cotswold, or you're in Magmel, or Millarn is the other one. It doesn't really say, hey, this is what you do. You just get dropped into a city that's, here's a bunch of quests. So typically, people are like, all right, let me just do the quests. And if you follow them, it's somewhat intuitive that one quest leads to another town, and then that leads to another town, that leads to another town, and then you get dropped off, and then you get about 15 to 12 levels to do Battlegrounds. That's pretty perfect. Even if you aren't savvy enough to be like, oh, I need to get all these quests in the first town, and you're Googling somewhere, you find everybody said the exact same thing. Just do those quests. It'll take you where you need to be, and you'll get to 50 in no time. Once you hit 50, you go into the main city. You talk to the king, whoever the leader is. That at that point, you're kind of just, now you're in the deep end, and it doesn't say, okay, here's where you go, here's what you do. And I'm not expecting it to do that, but one of the problems outside of Dayak is a lot of the resources are fragmented, or they're just not updated. So you go and look for what do I do at 50, or what do I do really, that's probably the only question you're asking. What do I do at 50? Maybe if you played a little bit with Atlantis, how do I start some of the bounty quests? You might know a little bit of that already. But if you probably know some of that way back when, you probably are thinking, oh, they're glass quests. Come to find out, I'm pretty sure, I don't know for certain, but I think glass is completely gone and everything's just bounty. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. The glass quests were replaced with bounty point rewards instead. Glass still is available as a currency. It just no longer drops from anything. There's no way to acquire more of it. Same thing with the other alternate currencies that were introduced over the years. But again, why would you know that? You just came back to the game after forever.
Right. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Although I did do a few glass quests, and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, why can't I get glass anymore? Like, what is this glass that I have in my inventory? And obviously, my situation is kind of unique. I had some previously, so I had a little bit of knowledge. Completely brand new players, they wouldn't know anything about that at all.
Yeah. And then there's also like the quest lines themselves. Once there's a quest in the new user journey that if you did happen to get lucky enough to pick up that line that tells you at level either 30 or 35, I don't remember off the top of my cranium, but to go to TOA and pick up the bounty quest tells you to go to a battleground and do stuff there, but it's still not very intuitive. You have to read, you have to kind of live and die by that journal. I don't know that people know to do that.
Well, I don't. It would be nice if people did that, but then again, you can't expect people to do that. And I think a lot of other games and communities do to kind of mitigate that is they have a giant wiki that's like, here's where you go if you don't want to just wander around the world and figure everything out on your own. Here's where you go. Basically, your cheat strategy guide. This is what you do. Step 1 through 10, just follow an order and.
Yeah, we haven't really had anything like that since the Prima guides. And that's been 15 plus years, and some of that info is still valid, but a lot of it for what we're talking about is not, because things have changed so much over the years.
Yeah. And that's another thing is once you start, if you're a new player, I think one of the biggest detriments is a lot of the information out there is fragmented and was correct at one point in time and was incredibly invaluable. Things have changed so much in the game now that it's like you're reading some of this stuff and it's like, well, I don't think that exists anymore, or that doesn't seem like that would be the thing I'm supposed to do right now.
Yeah. And that kind of leaves a bit of a gap between stumbling around to hit 50 and then, okay, I want to go RVR. Now what?
Yes. So let's say, all right, I'm a brand new player that just hit 50, and I don't necessarily know too much about master levels. I don't necessarily know too much about champion levels. I know that Dayak is known for RVR because it's Dayak. That's what it's known for. Let me go do that. Now, for me, I don't know if that would be a good or a bad idea. I'd need someone like you to tell me, like, just hit 50. You got your spec. You don't have your template. Any other person probably wouldn't know what a template is. They might know what a spec is, but they probably don't know what a template is. How bad of an idea is that?
Well, I mean, depending upon, like, on your journey, did you wind up talking to the king and getting the free armor, or did you, like, have to Google to figure that out even?
I stumbled upon it. I did find out that I had to go talk to the king and that there was somebody next to them. I think it might have actually been after Googling, now that I'm thinking about it.
It's almost like, okay, I want to try to play this game. And I've got to want to try it hard enough that I'm willing to not play the game to figure out how to play the game. Is that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, it's just, I mean, I guess maybe I've become so spoiled that that's what you do for other games. If you don't know what you're doing, you go Google it. Or you could be the annoying guy and ask every single question in everybody's chat. It's like, just Google it. Usually that's the answer. But in this case, I kind of feel like the idiot because I've tried Googling it, but the answer is just, maybe I'm missing them.
Yeah. So it sounded like when you were explaining things earlier, you said the tutorial part was pretty straightforward. Was it after the tutorial when you got level 10 and ported to the main world? Was that when you first felt like things weren't really explaining themselves anymore?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, because of my past knowledge, I kind of knew what to do. I mean, I knew that I didn't have to keep pressing F6 and G to gather my loot anymore, but I didn't really know that the best thing that I should probably do if I didn't want to spend money or trade for level increase, the best thing really was just do the quests because they'll take you very far, very fast.
Yeah. Okay. So to kind of follow on to that, even with getting dropped off into the world and it not being quite clear, going from level 1 to level 50, it's definitely never been easier. And even like you stumbled upon how to get there, maybe some Google foo, whatever, but you got there and it wasn't so miserable that you quit before you got to 50, right?
Correct. I enjoyed it. I mean, compared to 25 years ago when one level would take a day.
Did it give you that nostalgia, dopamine hit that you might have been looking for just trying to get to 50 a little bit?
And for sure. I mean, you didn't have the grouping, but it's the game.
Right. Yeah, there's not that many people XPing anymore on live. It sounded like in our chats previously that kind of felt like it may have given you a false sense of readiness for RVR because it's like, okay, I'm 50. I talked to the king. Now what?
Yeah, definitely. At that point, it's there is nothing saying don't do RVR aside from when I would Google. It seemed like the first thing you really need was bounty points, and you could do Atlantis, or I think you could get bounty points from a lot of the frontier zones, and that was a way to advance.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's all right. I'm doing RVR now.
I'm not sure what just changed, but your mic quality just got 100 times better.
Okay.
So
then I'm happy for all of you.
Thank you, interwebs. Yeah, I feel like what you're highlighting is that there's just a fairly large gap between dinging 50 and actually being ready to go and RVR. And apparently I screwed up this slide, so I'm just going to skip to the next one. But you ran into some roadblocks, right? Of the where do I go next? What do I do now? How do I get there? What the game has so many different things, like, and he kind of touched on this briefly earlier, like we see quite frequently in Discord where folks will post, hey, I just came back. Do artifacts still matter? And they fairly often just kind of get chuckled at because know that outside of a few select cases, they really don't. If you're still rolling a template from 2000 anything, it's probably not going to be that great. There are some artifacts that do make sense, given certain different topics, like Shades of Mist is still a pretty dope artifact. The Atlantis tablet, some of the other ones that do shape changes and stuff like that still give some of the best shape change abilities in the game that can be used anytime outside of an event. But artifacts are not sought after like they used to be. They're not all over templates like they used to be, and they almost feel like an afterthought in today's game to many people. And there's no way you're going to know that, right? You just came back. It sounded like maybe you played through TOA, maybe
like the first master level, and that's it.
Yeah. So, like, what? Not only what do I do, but what's changed about them? Like, used to, you had to go do an insane amount of PvE to get all that stuff to happen, and my cat just decided to come say hello, so my camera's going nuts. Hi, Pepper. Oh, he left again. All right. But yeah, so like artifacts in some cases are still cool, but you don't even get them the same way you used to. There's you can still go farm like you used to and get the but the difference is nowadays, if you do the actual encounter, you get credit from a quest that gives you a fully activated level 10 artifact, so you don't have to go XP the artifact anymore. You can also buy artifacts with bounty points. You can also still buy them with glass if you have glass. But if you do it that way, you still have to go XP the artifact. So it almost makes more sense to just go do the encounter and not have to XP the artifact, and then it's going to be level 10 automatically, and you don't have to go do all of that. But there's not really anything out there that says that right now. You can go read patch notes if that's your thing, but most people aren't reading patch notes for a game to figure out what all's changed since 2001.
So artifacts are artifacts that have master levels. It seems like there's now multiple ways to get artifacts, obviously. Multiple ways to get master levels.
Yep.
Did they nerf basically artifacts and master levels to the point where there is one basically meta path to get what you need and everything else is just kind of obsolete? Like, I guess my point is the entirety of Atlantis obsolete because they've made it so trivial?
Kind of. So master levels are still a thing, but they removed master level XP. So once you get credit, you just go talk to the arbiter and train and move on. So getting rid of the master level XP mechanic made that a lot easier. You can also get master level credit with bounty points and glass. You can also go buy master level credit with the Mithril store, the microtransaction thing. And then there's also master level 10 tokens that people just give away for free because the market's flooded with them. So if you go in Discord and say, hey, can I get an ML10 token? At least 4 people are probably going to throw one at you. And you go take that token and turn it into a vendor in the little shiny hall, Rune Rar Atlantis area. And boom, you're master level 10, you train your master levels and you go. Nobody really does the master level encounters anymore outside of for nostalgia. It's not out of need. The way that you earn them, I think, is in a pretty good state, even if you didn't have all these alternative ways, because they reduce the difficulty. So in answer to your question, yes, Atlantis has been nerfed to the point that probably 4 tunes can go do 95% of the content in it, if not all of it. It's not like it used to be back in the day where it was an all-day affair to get 2 or 3 MLs done. You could probably, if the server is working right, And because there has been times where some of the bosses have been bugged out and you're actually unable to finish it from a PvE perspective, you could probably go knock out ML 1 through 10 in its entirety from a raid perspective in less than 3 to 4 hours. And if you've got, if you actually do the PvE and go out to do the master level encounters themselves, because you only need 3 or 4 characters now to do them all, even the battle group steps, Atlantis is a whole lot easier than it used to be. Most people that remember Trials of Atlantis associate it with the grind of what it took to get back in the day. I doubt very many people would expect it to be easier, because nothing really out there says, hey, Atlantis is easier to do now.
I feel like there's an opportunity where they could revive that with, here's a different reward from doing it the old way. Maybe it's still easier. You don't need to do master levels the same way. Obviously, you have bounty points to get master levels, but go do it the old way, and here's a new XYZ reward for whatever reason. If they end up doing this and everybody hates it, don't hang me as the person that suggested this. But, like, my point is, the content seems to have been nerfed to the point where it's no longer relevant because there's such easier ways to do it.
That's 100% accurate.
Kills that entire point of that expansion.
The only reason that most people still go out into TOA zones today is to farm skins and to turn in afrits for rocks. That's it.
Or for nostalgia.
And you don't even see that very often.
Maybe.
But it does happen. But nobody is going out there because they need something to go RVR. You still need master levels because you still want the skills from it. But like you said, there's so many other ways to achieve that now that it's not really necessary to actually go out there and do it, which is, Zerks in chat said, made it too easy. I agree that it's too easy to achieve in-game PvE goals. I think the way that they have adjusted TOA, if it had been more in the manner that it is now 15 years ago, it probably would have been better received. WoW still would have killed the population, don't get me wrong, but it's not having to go farm faction, to go farm scrolls, to go activate something. Like, with the way most people game today, I feel like that's not necessarily a bad place. It's just with the power creep of a server that's been around for 24 plus years, things that came out in 2003 and 4 are not really going to be that relevant anymore from an item perspective. But they went down a very slippery slope when they started making PvE optional. And bounty point introduction really did that very heavily, where you can go get bounty points and craft most things. And if you can't craft it, there's also traveling merchants now in just outside the main order keep, where you can go spend in-game gold on items as well. So between the traveling merchants and bounty crafting, it's never been easier to acquire the gear that you need, but that really only helps the people that already have done it 8 million times already. It doesn't really help the people that want to go play that part of the game.
Yes.
And then,
like, all of that is pretty much isn't something that's very obvious when you get to 50.
Yep. And then champion levels, we haven't really talked about them much yet, but kind of the same thing. There is still champion XP. They didn't do away with that. But what they did do was introduce plethoras of ways to get champ XP as well. So you can go get a champion level 15 microtransaction token. You can also get a token that gives you max XP, max champion level, and max master level, but it's like $55 worth of mithril. With the way that people just basically give away master level tokens, that doesn't really make sense to do, but you can do that if you just want to skip everything and have all of the PvE out of the way outside of getting gear. But for champion levels, you can buy the XP for them with bounty points. So again, go spend some money on a game time card and trade for bounty point scrolls or tokens or whatever, and you don't even have to do that anymore. Or they also made it to where a lot of people will do the bounty point quests for a week or two just at random, and then maybe go hit up Cursed once. And if you're just coming back, you're going to be like, what's Cursed? And then you've got enough bounty points to go train to champion level 15 so that you don't actually have to go grind that out either. Again, they kind of took away the need to do that PvE and get you right into RBR. And then you go train your champion levels or whatever, and then once you're CL 15, you can use your CL 15 weapon from Darkness Falls that you can also bounty craft. They took away the seals dropping; it's all bounty craft now, so you can't go spend seals on things in Darkness Falls because it's all. You either already have the seals and you can go buy stuff, or you have to bounty craft it. Like, you can't just go farm for seals in DF. And some DF mobs do drop bounty points, but it takes forever compared to the other ways to get it. So most people just go spend bounty points on it, train CL 15, and move on. But again, you wouldn't know that, right? And so that kind of brings you into, how do players acquire items today? The game doesn't really tell you.
It doesn't. And I think for new and returning players, at this point, I don't even think they get to this step of how do I acquire new items. I think they are already dropped off. Not everybody, obviously. There's some people that stay and figure it out, and maybe they have mentors in the community, which is definitely something that every game needs. I think most players dropped off at this point because, again, they don't know about the 4 things above and how to do any of that.
And then another piece of that too, you contacted me on Discord. How did you figure out Dayak even had a Discord? Because it's not in the game and it's not on their website. It used to be on their website, but with their revamp, they took it off for whatever reason. Like, how did you figure out that we even have a Discord?
I had to think about that. It might have actually been this stream, to be honest with you. I might have been looking, all right, who streams on Twitch, Dark Age of Camelot, found you and saw in the bottom of your presentations that there was a Discord link. I'm pretty sure that's how I found it.
Yeah. And I will say, I say this every stream, and I'm going to take this opportunity to say it now. Broadsword really needs to add a advertisement about official Dayak Discord in the game's message of the day, and they need to put it back on their website. They closed their forums and are pointing everybody to Discord. They don't have a link to Discord off of their main page anymore even. It's not on the patcher when you launch the game. Nothing about the game right now tells you, hey, go to Discord. Even though that's got the most accurate current information and veterans that are willing to help solve this knowledge gap that we're discussing, it's almost like people are set up for failure just due to lack of effort that's not their own.
And, well, I guess I don't necessarily want to put this all on Broadsword. For instance, most people played WoW. When you played back in the day, there was one website you went to if you had a question about something. Do you remember what it was?
I didn't really play WoW. I missed that. I played the beta and then went right back to playing Daok, and I didn't play WoW again until like 2 years ago.
It was called ThoughtBot. It was basically a wiki that you'd go, and there's, I think, multiple other wikis spawned off of it. There's a wiki you go to, all right, I got a question, or you ask your friend. But generally speaking, most games have a quote-unquote wiki. I guess the biggest for Daok was Alakazam. Something like that.
And Alakazam is still around, but it's still woefully outdated.
Right, which is disheartening to anybody that's coming back to it. It's like, oh, I'm going to check that out because it was great back then, and they look at it and it's
stagnant.
Been updated in 6 years.
So here's what's sad. There is a wiki. I just dropped a link to it in chat. It's also not on the launcher. It's not advertised in the message of the day. It's also not on the Camelot Herald website anymore because when they did their revamp, they took the link to it off as well. But even when it was there, the only way that you could get to it was by clicking on a W icon that I guess stood for wiki, but you had no idea what it actually was.
I did see this one, and I looked at it, and as soon as I saw Pictish invasion under guides, I was like, now this thing hasn't been updated in years.
And you're correct. There is a handful of updates, but it hasn't been updated since Cursed came out.
Okay.
Which was 8 years ago at this point. So the Discord link is on the wiki because I put it there because the community can edit it.
Okay.
But it's not. But it's not on the darkageofcamelot.com website though.
Well, that's what my suggestion was. Is I don't want to be the guy that's like, well, you're just bitching and complaining about all this stuff. What's a way to solve this? I think you honestly need. Just because I don't think it would be that much bandwidth, get it. Broadsword, spin up a media wiki, have one or two people kind of set it up. Probably wouldn't take more than a week worth of time. I know it's a lot, probably, but you then crowdsource the actual population of it because the people that will populate it are the people that play the game. And
they can do that with this wiki that's there already. That's how most of that information got there in the first place. Problem is the time to do it, people actually wanting to do it, organizing enough to do it, because there's been multiple pushes in the last 5 years for, hey, let's update the wiki, and then it dies like a week later.
Yeah, I think people tend to typically stay away from fandom just because you get plastered with millions of ads if you don't have an ad blocker. I don't know, honestly, who's not using an ad blocker at this point, but that's reasons I've heard. But
yeah, that particular wiki was stood up after EA acquired Broadsword back when it was EA BioWare. They actually spent a lot of time putting stuff on there, and that's actually still where the archive for like the patch notes and stuff are from when it was an EA studio. Almost all of the information that's still around that's not on archive.org that's available today is on that wiki. And in the past, when the community has asked Broadsword about it specifically, that's what they point to is that particular wiki. And without some sort of mass uprising, I don't see that having much effort from a dev standpoint put on it. Doesn't stop community members from doing things, but we can't even get people to log in and play right now. I don't know how successful we're going to be at updating a wiki.
Well, did I see that they're updating the Herald?
It's been under construction for the last 2 months. Yeah, there's less content on it now than there was 2 months ago. there was hope that it would be a quick migration to get it off of its old platform and into WordPress. It's into WordPress, but now they're, for whatever reason, having to jump through whatever you have to do as a actual formal company to republish code and get all the sign-offs that are involved. And it's not quite the same as a community-led effort of volunteers that can just go do stuff with things. So that being said, I'm a little sad that they didn't just launch it when it was done, as opposed to removing functionality, because right now the character tracker is down, the item search is down. Like, if it wasn't for Dayak, Buddy, and Excedio, those things wouldn't even be available to the community right now. And that kind of goes into the how do players actually acquire items today thing. It sounds like, from your perspective, most people in your shoes don't even get this far.
Yeah.
And so if you don't wind up in the Discord that's not advertised officially right now, and you're not reaching out proactively or getting lucky with your Google Foo, it sounds like as a new or returning player, you may not know. And then
That's my experience.
If you're lucky enough to land in Discord and aren't just a lurker and actually say hello and introduce yourself, there are quite a few people that are willing to help, but a lot of people are lurkers. They don't like talking. A lot of people also don't necessarily have the time to go peruse what is the non-user friendliness of how you squirrel things away in a Discord channel to have it be found. So I think that even though Discord is a great tool for near real-time conversation, I don't know that it's a good replacement for a wiki or a website that actually has the information in a more logical, easy to digest format, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, go ahead.
Let's, in between how players actually acquire items today and templates, let me pose this question to you. You're creating a brand new account. Let's just say you're catering to, you're not going to be endless conquest. You're going to go paid. What would you do to get yourself ready to be RVR ready? You'd obviously level 1 to 50. At that point, what would you do?
Well, I'll pause there first by saying that a lot of people that come into Discord want to try the game for free to see if it's even worth $15. And we see a very common theme, and I say this as we because I'm one of the Discord moderators, so I pay attention to it probably more than most people that actually have a life. But very frequently we see endless conquest is too limiting. I don't even want to try the game because I can't play the class that I want to. If I don't want it, like I wanted to be a warlock, well, I have to sub to play a warlock. Stuff like that is even a gate that's not really applicable in most MMOs anymore. I mean, at least in WoW, you can get to level 20 on anything just about. Most other MMOs that are older have a more modern, if you will, free-to-play model that doesn't keep you from trying what you actually want to try. And so to me, I feel like that's a little bit of gatekeeping on Broadsword/EA's perspective on their side of the house that's keeping people that want to give the game the college try almost like a little bit of a kick in the pants of, well, come try it, but not really. So there's a hurdle there too. And so to follow that up, with what you were saying of, I want to play a brand new account and I'm going to subscribe. I've already committed the cost of 2 Starbucks cups of coffees to a game for a month. Because a lot of people come back with that EC argument. If it's only $15, come on. If you have a job, that should not be beyond the realm of plausibility if you're at a place in life where you can actually play a video game. Some people aren't, and that's fair too. But if you decide to sub and you come in and you're going to go and you're going to do the leveling and whatnot, and you're going to get to 50. Hopefully you stumble your way there. Hopefully your Google food blesses you. I actually did this once because I wanted to know how long does this actually take, because I'm weird like that, I guess. But it takes about 30 hours to stumble through it all and actually read everything that the game tells you in the old school quest format that it is in, where you're literally reading in your journal. It takes us a very certain mindset to be willing to read every quest dialogue box that pops up. Most people aren't going to do that. They're just going to click on the little word that's the keyword to move them on in the quest. By not reading it, you lose not only the lore, but you also lose all the stuff that the game is actually trying to teach you about your class and the game itself. So while you can push to 50 in 3 or 4 hours, most people probably don't think about, even playing solo, taking 30 hours to actually learn the class and reading everything. So the reason I bring this up is because I'm trying to look at your question from both sides of, if it was me and I was just the average player, I'm probably just going to click the keywords and keep on moving. And I'm missing so much context there about what's actually going on that I am actually going to miss knowing what to do, because the game does tell you what to do if you pay attention, but it is a very 2003 to 5 way of telling you what to do that people in today's games just, they don't plug into that level of interaction with. Literally, if big flashy words are not popping up on your screen like they do in the tutorial of where to go next, most people aren't going to catch it. And we don't have something like a Daok Zygort that will tell you where to go to do the next quest or whatever. Like that type of stuff isn't even a thing here. So you roll that new account, and if you're rolling, here's another problem. If you're brand new, you have to have an EA account. So you got to go make that. Then you have to go into EA accountcenter.eamythic.com, and you have to log in with that EA account, and then you have to create basically a broadsword account. I forget what they call it off the top of my cranium, but it's not the game account that you log in with. It is it's the system-wide account on what used to be the EA, not EA, but the Mythic BioWare side of the house. And then once you have that account established, then you get to actually make a game account that you log into the actual game with. So you can go make, I had to create 3 accounts just to log in. What? That is frustrating too. If you're not a returning player, you just had to go make 3 accounts. You don't really understand why. And if you're a returning player, it depends on how far you got in the past. Okay, do I have an EA account or not? Do I just have a game account, or do I have an EA Mythic account? Like, trying to figure all that out, even though that is on the webpage and there is YouTube videos about it, is still kind of confusing. So to me, that is another barrier for entry for a new or returning player, just figuring out how to get the account center stuff wrangled to where you can even try to log in, be it EC or sub. So you get through all those hurdles, you get to 50, and when I came back to the game in 2020, I knew about the Discord, and so I went there. And I just read, because I'm traditionally a lurker. Like, I was on Post Count, I was on VN boards, I was on IGN after VN closed, like all of that. But I never really posted much. I was always a lurker. So I just read what other people were talking about. I went through the forums. I didn't really say much. And then I finally worked up the courage, which took a lot for me at the time, to reach out and say, hey, I'm a returning player. I'd like to play Midgard. I'd like to get involved. Are there any guilds recruiting? Then you also run into the problem of, well, my old tunes are all in my old guild that is now dead. Do I want to leave that guild? Do I want to join another one? How does that really work? Do guilds matter in 2025 Dayak? That's a little bit of a mind fuck too, if you will, of, do I really want to quit the guild that I've been a GM of for 20 plus years just so that I can go play with some other people? So that's a little weird. And then I was really fortunate that someone replied to me, and it's someone that has since retired from playing the game, but Amadura reached out and was like, hey man, welcome back. Good to have you. I'm going to take you under my wing, and I'm going to help you get reacclimated to things. And he probably spent the better part of 2 weeks answering all of my dumbass noob questions. And I was fortunate that someone was willing to do that. And he brought me into his Discord, and I joined Influential Brutality and rolled with them when they were still rolling a couple of years ago. We did a lot of small man and a lot of 8-man and some solo, and like, I wanted to play my Berserker, and I knew my template was shit. And Amber was like, here you go. Here's a full set of Berserker gear that's current to today's standards. He also taught me how to use it, what the different uses meant, because that had all changed. We went through and actually ran drills on how to play a Berserker in this day and age. Here's how, based on the way the server actually works today, here's how you land side styles. Here's how you land your other positionals. Like, I really had the red carpet rolled out for me by someone that knows, he's probably honestly forgotten more about Dayak than most people will ever learn. And he, like I said, he's retired now, so he's not hanging out in Discord anymore or anything, but I got lucky. I got hella lucky, because I was just some random dude in Discord, and someone that knows the game so well decided to help me come back. And some people get that lucky and some people don't. And so I knew enough to know that I needed to reach out to people that had been still playing the game. And that was, I when I started, I came back Endless Conquest. I didn't sub right away. And I said, well, I'm going to try this Endless Conquest thing and see if I can make it work, because whatever, like, who wants to pay for something if they don't have to? And I made a new tune at Amber's recommendation just to kind of relearn how to play things. I think I made it to level 35 and then subbed, because I was just over it at that point. And I'm like, here's my $15, I'm back. And then by the next month I had 2 accounts again, and the rest is history. But for me, in that journey 5 years ago, I got stuck too. And I had played the game for 12 years at that point, and then took a 7-year break. And I didn't forget everything I did over that 12 years entirely, but 7 years was a long time to be gone. A lot of things changed. Like, I missed Other Worlds. I missed Cursed. But I came back and wanted to go to Catacombs like a lot of people do. I didn't realize that Catacombs is gone because Broadsword reused the zones to make Cursed. And for whatever reason, decided to do it in a way that removed those zones in the catacombs area. And I'm one of many people that have bitched about that. I've kind of gotten off of that soapbox over time because I just got tired of screaming at a wall. But that expansion I loved, and you can't even play it anymore. The classes are still there, but unless you can find somebody that's still bound down there to port you to take you to the handful of zones that actually still exist, you can't do anything in it. So I hit that point of, okay, I'm back. Now what? And I played with the folks that welcomed me back for a while until I kind of found my niche and everything. But it literally probably took a solid 2 months of me actively trying to learn all the things to get to the point where I could answer my own basic questions about how things are now. Like, people that played back in the day probably might still remember that you can go to housing and you can look for items there, but how do you know what to look for?
You need to know what to look for it.
Yeah, you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of a little bit of a chicken and an egg problem there. So I ran into the same issues you did, even though I played for a lot longer. And then to actually answer, how do you acquire items today? Well, usually you ask people in Discord, hey, what's the best way to go do X? And a couple of things will happen. Somebody will usually respond and say, you can go farm it here, or you can go search for it in housing. Some people might straight up just offer to give it to you. But not that many people are saying, hey, let's go form a group and do the content. Which, for an RPG, is, for a lot of people, myself included, half the fun. Like, I appreciate that Amber gave me that full set of Berserker gear, and then that he taught me how to use it. Most people don't get that luxury. People might hand you a full suit of gear and wish you the best of luck, but they're probably not going to teach you how to use it. They might point you at some guides to read or something like that, but that MMO aspect of things, to me, is still part of what's missing too, because kind of like you said, the 1 through 50 run, you saw nobody.
Yep.
So you can go ask in Discord how to get it. Somebody might give it to you. There are things that you can bounty craft, and people coming back probably don't know what bounty crafting is. There is a guide on it, on bounty crafting and on templates, actually, on the official Dayak website. But having someone walk you through it helps. What there isn't is something that tells you in-game about bounty crafting. You just have to go click on the bounty crafting button, put it on your hotbar, and then open it, and then kind of work your way through, okay, this takes Stardust. What the fuck is Stardust? You can craft Stardust, or you can buy it from certain merchants. It takes different recipes. Different recipes are bought with bounty points from certain merchants. And then the ingredients for that. So it might take a combination of some recipes, and then some Stardust, and then some either weapon or accessory or armor molds that are also bought with bounty points. And then you can take that, go over by the forge or whatever, and craft your item that's on the bounty points menu. But again, not everything is there. Only some things are there. And so they introduced the traveling merchants, which used to be only in game for a little while at a time. They would appear and then be around for a little while and then leave. Well, now they're in all the time, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you didn't know to go find them in their tent outside of SF or wherever, and go look around and know that you can buy items with gold, because you can do that too. Or you can go do the content. The content is still there, but most people are not going to go farm Summoner's Hall anymore. Most people are going to go to the traveling merchants and get whatever it is for their template. Or find it in housing, or maybe it's in their vault from ages ago or whatever. But that's not really explained anywhere in the actual game. And so the more we have to leave the game to learn how to play the game, the more frustrating I think it can become.
The less we're playing the game.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
It's like the more we want to play the game, the more we have to leave the game to actually know how to play the game.
Yep. And the classic get good is not reading a wiki article, it's playing the game. That's people don't want to get good by reading for 5 hours. They want to log in and play the game and experience the game. So
well, I think people want to get to the point where they'll read a wiki article to get to the point where they're like, okay, I've done what I can outside the game. Now I need to put in the work to be able to build the skills to, aside from where you said doing the quests and doing all the stuff where it teaches you how to play the class. Some stuff can't be taught, in my opinion, by even reading the quests and being taught. You have to kind of just trial and error it.
You need to do it.
Yeah.
You need to actually go do it, that hands-on training, if you will, and it helps if somebody's willing to go do it with you in a voice chat, preferably. But yeah, and then so you have all these items, but if you don't have an actual template that works it through together, you're at the mercy of how good did you guess. And templating has always been kind of like its own little mini game in Dayak, and there are people that are really good at it that spend a ridiculous amount of hours on templates, and they can just make things happen. And then you got people like me who know what templates are and know how to build them, but I'm not going to build the best template because that's just not my thing, but I can get maybe 80% of the way there. But there's also a templates library that's in Discord that Bloodcore and some of his friends made and shared. And it doesn't require any veteran items or anything like that. It's all stuff that's easy to get, relatively speaking. So it's not expensive from a game perspective. But you still got to know, A, that you need a template, B, what is a template, C, where to go find them. So you got the templates channel in official Dayak Discord. And then you also have DayakBuddy.com that Axel built, where people can share templates and things like that, and there are public templates on there, but none of that's advertised anywhere either.
But I think for the most part, for me, it didn't take me too long to understand. Like, I'll just click in Spec Help and see all the messages in there, and it's like, all right, I understand exactly what this channel does, and I know exactly what. All right, here's my class. Mentalist. All right, give me the spec for mentalist. That for group, solo, RVR, whatever. Do that. Template, not as straightforward, but that the Blood Cord, the site that they built, it's perfect. It's got everything you need. It's got the items. The only thing is, it's not all right. How do I get the items? It's perfect that it tells you what you need. The next step is just figuring out how to get them.
Yep. And then also knowing that not all templates are created equal. Like, there's not really anything that tells you what makes a good template.
No, but I think if you had the formula of, all right, here's the templates, you go in here, you see, oh, it's got a bunch of items and stats, and you're building your actual character. All right, once you go through that process of, okay, I've got the template, I've built all my items. Ideally, as you're building it, you're looking at the actual items that you're adding to your character and saying, okay, I see how this fits. I see how these fit. And then you can put the whole puzzle piece together, ideally, to understand, okay, I understand what this character's doing. You may not necessarily understand the whole gamut of all the other items that are out there, but you kind of get the whole process of, okay, I get what a template is. This is perfect. Now it's just discovering what else is out there to potentially make a bad template better.
Yeah. And that's definitely one of those things you got to read about outside of the game. Nothing in the game is going to tell you that if you don't have at least a plus 26 on every resist, that you're going to have a bad time. Nothing in the game tells you that if you're a caster and you don't have plus 10 to spell pierce in RVR, you're going to have a bad time. Like, those kinds of things aren't written down anywhere right now. That's part of that gate-kept knowledge to some extent. That I don't know that you could just necessarily go read a wiki page once and be good at it, but you shouldn't have to go do a research paper on building a template to build one. There should be something somewhere that kind of guides you. And I think that's one of the things that it sounds like we've covered a fair bit is it's not that the game isn't playable, it's that there's nothing that is connecting the dots to let you know what to do next in a 2025 consumable fashion.
Yep.
So
100%.
As far as the missing mid-game goes, what's your perspective on why you feel like players really leave when they try to come back?
I think it's basically what you just said, because people hit 50, they're not quite sure, okay, I might know what master levels are, I might know what champion levels are, I might know what templating is. If you know what templating is and you know how it works, you're probably going to know that, okay, unless I figure out a template, get an actual set of armor, and hit my caps, RVR is probably not a great idea because I'm just going to get slaughtered. And that's the end game. And people will not know that they can't do that. So they'll jump into the end game and just get slaughtered and think, why am I going to continue playing this game if this is what RVR is going to be like? Granted, some of it's on them that RVR is not a solo game. You need other people. Unless you're a scout or a ranger and you can just sit somewhere and just pick off people.
But even then, you still need other people to kill.
Right. That's true. And other people are not going to just want to sit there and be killed all day. So it's bridging the gap of getting prepared for RVR. Once you hit 50, that the path isn't straightforward. That I think is why players really leave.
So to me, what that sounds like is it's not about the difficulty of doing things in the game. It's more about the absence of a roadmap of what to do to get there.
Possibly.
If you don't know where to go and how to find it, be that in game, be that on a website, be that on a wiki, be that in Discord, you don't know what to do. And Broadsword's already nerfed the content in the game to oblivion. It's not that the content is difficult. It's not that it's difficult to play the game to get what you need to be ready to go RVR. It's that there's nothing that shows you how to connect all of the dots to be ready.
Well, I think at one point there was a path, and this is going to sound like I'm blaming Broadsword completely, but Broadsword has kind of nerfed a lot of the game in various ways that now made those paths obsolete, and they've introduced these other, I guess, shortcuts, these quote-unquote lesser-known shortcuts, so to speak, and that's really the way to do it.
And it's kind of like those shortcuts are poorly documented at best. And I feel like that's where people talk about that it's gatekept or it's tribal knowledge or it's veteran knowledge or things like that. And I don't think that it's because people are intentionally staying silent about it or waiting for you to join their guild and go through hazing or whatever. I think it's just there's just not really a thing. And this game has always depended on the community since it launched to build those kinds of things. Like there's never been a character planner on darkageofcamelot.com or on the Camelot Herald. That's always been a third-party thing if it's not in the one that's in the game. That could be the Dayak KB thing that used to be there, the Catacombs site, the Excedio now, like all of that stuff has always been the community, good, bad, or indifferent. And the community has lost interest since 2017 to do that kind of stuff for the most part. And Axel stepped in and made Dayak buddy when Dayak Utils died, because that was where people made templates for a while. Nobody has done a character planner since Venisera has stopped maintaining Excedio, even though the site's still up. But there hasn't been a patch on it since 1.123. And we're at 1.129b now. So there's a lot of things that are gaps there. And on the one hand, the game has always been supported by the community, and good, bad, or indifferent, it almost kind of feels like the maintainers of the game, whether when it was still Mythic or now that it's EA/Broadsword, they have always kind of depended on the community to do things. And that interest has waned over time. And so I think that kind of leads me to what needs to be fixed. And I don't know, don't get me wrong, Broadsword could fix all of it. I don't know if they have the time or the budget or the personnel to fix all of it anytime soon. The fact that they have been updating their website for 2 months and it still has reduced functionality from before it went live and content is still missing doesn't really bode well in the let Broadsword fix it category when these have all been traditionally things that have been done by the community. And I honestly kind of wonder, myself anyway, if if that's just how it's going to be, and Broadsword's going to maintain the game the way that it's always been maintained, and the pieces that have always been reliant on the community are just going to be continued to be expected to be done by the community without them formally coming out saying that. But what that leaves in the lurch is updated guides, a wiki refresh. There's nothing we can do as the community about in-game pointers unless you build a custom UI and add things into that UI. But even that is kind of clunky, and then people have got to know to go, hey, go get this custom UI. It's got all this and that on it. We would have to build some kind of a new roadmap of, okay, I'm 50 now, what? Like those are the kinds of things that it sounds like kind of address the gap that we've been talking about for the last hour. Is there any other ideas that you might have that might be a relevant what needs to be fixed?
Yes. I have my own thoughts on this, and you can kind of you would know better. You've been around longer. So my initial thought is Deok's greatest strength is also its greatest weakness. RVR is arguably it's the best in the business. Broadsword's focus on solely RVR has made it the game's weakness because it's nerfed Atlantis. Every single aspect of the PvE world is essentially gone. The only real kind of focus is RVR. So you basically limited your entire audience that played an MMO to just people that like PvP. I think the fact that they focused so much on, maybe they were so proud of RVR and they focused so much on it, is the reason the game's in the state that it's in, because they were so laser focused, it seems, on RVR's the end game. We need to build the game towards RVR. To your point about realm points, that's the final frontier, and apparently they goofed that up in the past, I don't know, few months of making it stupid easy for people to get RP.
It's been about a year now.
A year. So at that point, to me, they need to come up with a system outside of RVR and make the current RP stupid easy for everyone to get, to basically reset the ceiling and say, okay, everybody can get RPs. This new currency is the new ceiling, so that we can level the playing field. And whatever system that is, maybe it's RP 2.0 or whatever you want to call it, that needs to be better than the current system. Does that make sense, or do you think I'm way off base?
I'd like to kind of keep pulling the thread a little bit on where you see something like that going, if you don't mind. Because let me ask you a clarifying question. In your mind, does that mean that the current characters that people have had forever would also migrate to whatever this new thing is? So, like, I guess I'm trying to clarify, like, what it almost sounds like you're describing like Realm Points 2.0. I'm not trying to suppose what you mean by that, so I'm kind of asking for you to pull that thread a little more on what that means to you.
So what that would mean to me is, like, you remember the day before Atlantis came out, you were level 50, you were at the level cap. Forget the fact that there's realm points. Atlantis came out, now you have master experience, essentially that. something where everybody's starting fresh, but they don't have to start fresh with a brand new character. They're going to reuse the same character they have. It's just the ceiling for whatever the next horizontal leveling system is now even, because everybody has the ability to hit max realm point stupid easy. The next system is what's going to take time for people to build up.
So kind of like what they did with champion levels as well, because everybody was level 50
Yep.
and everybody was master level 10. Then they introduced champion levels 1 through 5. Now it's all the way up to champion level 15. But all that has given you the ability to spec into some subspecs of things, and to have things like a remaster that can take 30 seconds to res you. But I don't know. I'm trying to imagine what gimmick, if you will, what's the MacGuffin for the 2.0 that would make people want to chase it, because the end game, even with master levels and even with champion levels, realm points were always the end game. That's what you were striving for, was to get realm rank 11, realm rank 12, and then they added 13 and they added 14. And I think even adding like a realm rank 15, I don't know, even though the numbers on that would be astronomically high, I don't know what that would look like. I almost kind of think, I don't know. To me, it almost seems like there needs to be a way to acknowledge, hey, we played for 24 plus years on this character. And if we're going to introduce a new grind, if you will, at the heart of Daok has always been RVR. What new heart do we get if the realm points that were earned today, be they easy mode or not? What's the new status symbol? Because even when like master level 10 and champion level 5 and then 15 came out eventually, that's still not what people were striving for. It was always about the realm points.
That I don't know. I think at least, I guess the point is, it seems like, and maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but it seems like realm points were kind of ruined for the past year.
Yeah,
They
jumped the
it.
shark with it, or whatever you want to call it. Like you can literally get realm rank whatever without killing a single person on Ywain, and that's left a lot of people very bitter about it.
So I guess that's my point. Is I think what needs to happen is they need to have a treadmill, if you want to call it that, as crude of a statement that is, a treadmill for RBR. But I think equally there needs to be a treadmill for PvE.
Absolutely.
Just because the game is both. And I think a lot of people, going back to why players really leave, I think some people find their play and they're like, this isn't what I thought it was. I really like PvE. I want to play PvE, and the game's PvE is dead. So why am I going to play this game? So at current, we're basically playing half a game because of that.
There's a reason that every instant 50 shard that has ever launched has flopped.
Yep.
And I think so for me, just a little bit of my own theory crafting, if you will. PvE is where people learn how to play. It's where they find guilds. It's where they exercise their craft of, my buttons do this. Let me play with my keybinds if I'm going to get that fancy. Like, nobody really wants to learn how to do all that shit in RVR, because when you go RVR, you want to kill people. You don't want to be fucking around learning shit. And so we took away the necessity of fostering that sense of community. Guilds basically became irrelevant, because if you're going to go RVR, you just join a group and go. And with the advent of things like Discord or even Vent or TeamSpeak over the years, it was more about whose voice chat are you in and less about whose guild are you in. Guilds don't really mean anything anymore in Dayak, and that saddens me. Alliances are fairly inactive as well, and kind of like what I mentioned earlier, people are in dead guilds and they don't want to give up the name because they've been there for so long, and they've got, like for me, my best friend and I used to play. He passed away years ago, but we have memories together that have that tag attached to it, and so I'm reluctant to leave it behind. I don't know. I wholeheartedly agree that there has to be a new chase. And there has to be a reason to PvE again, because that is where people find friends. That's where they click. And that's not to say that people don't find friends in RVR, but casuals don't tend to find friends in RVR. And that's what the game is missing.
Yes.
We don't have a casual player base anymore, regardless of type of preferred play style. And those casuals get fed by a PvE loop. And like we saw it back on 4 years ago now, the 20th anniversary came out and they introduced the new realm specific mounts and the nostalgia quests to go farm stuff you haven't seen in ages to do it. People were skipping RVR entirely and leading battle groups to do those quests because it was fun. Even though it was PvE and it was in the classic zones, it had nothing to do with RVR. There were literally hundreds of people. We haven't seen 100+ person battle groups in years. Well, I don't even know that we've seen anything big enough on Ywain in the last year to even call it a Zerg, because if you are a 16 slot or less, in my mind, that's not a Zerg. To me, a Zerg is 4 groups or more, but because it's supposed to be more than one guild, it should be multiples. But that's just my own math, I guess you could say. But PvE's got to matter. You've got to be able to do that. And I think when they replaced things with bounty points and made it to where you could get bounty points with RVR, I think it was well intentioned. But I think that broke PvE because it removed the need for you to go farm for stuff. That was a mini game in and of itself, be it farming for glass, farming for seals and DF, farming for dragon scales, like all that's gone. And it's just bounty points now, but you can't do everything with bounty points that you could with those currencies. And then they tried to kind of stopgap it with the traveling merchants, which relies on in-game gold. But because you earn so much in-game gold doing RVR, people will just sell 250 plat for a 1-month game time code, and now you're not PvEing again. You're just spending $15 to go get your gold to go do your stuff. And to me, that has almost become pay to play as opposed to fun to play. And I don't really like that, I guess you could say. Is it convenient? Fuck yeah, it's convenient, but that's killed the game. I mean, that's why we have so few players. I mean, you look at shard streams and you see hundreds of people. Half the time they're doing PvE. If not more. Like, don't get me wrong, they're still smaller, like they're still like the 8-man groups and the BG groups and stuff like that, but you see more people streaming shards that are doing PvE than you do RVR. At least that's what I've seen when I load Twitch. And I think that kind of highlights to me that there is a community that's out there that wants to play this game, but they don't want to play it in the discombobulated state it's in. And I don't think that has anything to do with realm balance either, from like a game balance perspective, I feel like Ywain is about as balanced as Dayak has ever been from a skills and classes perspective. But everything else that makes the game has kind of been fucked. And I think
it's completely lopsided.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that they focused on RVR so hard that it went from being the crown that everyone chased to now it's the only thing left, and there's no pedestal to even put the statue on, let alone anything else.
Yeah, and I almost feel like RVR needs to take a backseat to PvE.
Well, some people might say that RVR is PvE now because of the way that they've implemented it.
Wow. Yeah, but my point is, this is purely gut feeling based on my experience. I think you get more people playing a PvE game than you do a PvP MMO, at least. And that's the only reason why I think RVR should take a backseat to PvE. And I think RVR should complement PvE, not the other way around.
I think just from an industry-wide perspective, that's hard to disagree with. Pretty much every game that's out there has a PvP component of some sort, but the PvE side of it is the massive side. And that's what was so successful over the years. Like, you had the launch of the game, and then they added Darkness Falls, which was PvE with a PvP component. And then they added Shrouded Isles, and they added Foundations, and they added New Frontiers, and they added Trials of Atlantis, and then they added Catacombs and Darkness Rising and Labyrinth of the Minotaur, and almost every last one of those expansions were PvE that made RVR better, but you still had to go PvE to do it. Since then, since the last official expansion has come out, there have been 2 massive PvE events that have gear and things associated with them that were not official expansions, if you will, but the Otherworldly line and then the Cursed line were basically mini expansions. And they also did a DF revamp in there while I was on break, so I'm not as familiar with that. I just know what I've read. But they haven't even done anything like Cursed, even though they fucked up Catacombs so bad with that. They haven't done another PvE focused thing in years now. And like when Cursed came out and it had all the new gear, and yeah, there was scope creep involved with it or whatever, but or power creep, I should say, not scope creep. But there hasn't been anything to get people to go grind until very recently, and it's a grind in RVR now, not a PvE grind, because they added the only thing that's in right now is the current ROG quest that drops to make templates a little bit better for the people that want to go down that road. And then they added like the Starlight weapons that are time limited. They added the Ghostly weapons, but those weren't huge PvE. They were just new weapons. And so they have added like items and things like that. But since Cursed came out, there has not really been a true PvE focused something that you have to go do because it makes RVR better. And most games live on a life cycle of every 12 to 24 months, something like that happens. Unless you're a truly seasonal game where when your season starts over, your progression starts over in some sense. So you if you're not going to have seasons, you have to have something that keeps that drive going. And I think PvE is where that drive needs to be. I don't even know because I've kind of been thinking about it since you mentioned it. I don't even know that a Realm Points 2.0 on Ywain would make sense as much as maybe adding Realm Rank 15 for people to chase, but come up with something else, because we've already kind of jumped the shark on making shit overpowered. Come up with something else that people have got to go do to have the latest, greatest gear or whatever. And
That's essentially the spirit of what I was saying. Like, Realm Rank 15, make it Realm Rank 20 or whatever it is, and yeah, that could be it too.
so, because once you get above Realm Rank 13, even though they're giving away RPs like crazy, it still takes a while to hit 14 because of the way the math works. And then 15 is astronomically high. 16 is ridiculously high. And it would still take, even with the great RP giveaway of 2025, it would still take a long time to hit those numbers for daily players. Now that we literally have hundreds of Realm Rank 14s on Ywain, the prestige that it being a store Jarl once was is no longer there.
I'm also of the mindset that you can earn, let's say they do raise it to 15. You can earn Realm Rank 15 in PvE. It's going to take you 10 times as long as if you did it RVR, maybe even 20 times as long.
And right now that coin is flipped. It's the other way around right now.
Yeah, it should be Realm Rank, let's say if they introduced a Realm Rank 15, takes you constant PvE, let's say it takes you 50,000 RVR kills. PvE, it'll take however long 50,000 RVR kills takes, let's say 6 months. I would say PvE should take you no less than 18 months.
Yeah.
I think still making progress.
I think something like that makes sense. They just have the paradigm is inverted right now to where you can PvE your way much, much faster. And I kind of did a breakdown on that last week on the stream of the people that are in the top 10 and all time and whatnot. How many of them are earning realm points by player kills, and how many of them are earning realm points via quest completions, where there are no player kills involved? It's just killing doppelgangers or killing ponies or whatever else there may be that's not an actual player kill. And it's not even a keep lord or a tower. Like, that was traditional. There's always been that aspect of PvE in RBR, and it was around the towers and the keeps. Those still exist, but nobody does them anymore. It's more lucrative to go do these other things instead. Anyhow, I think that this has been an awesome conversation. I really appreciate the perspective that you brought to the table here as a returning player, because you've definitely brought up things that I've never even thought about, and even kind of taking me back through the mental journey of my own coming back 5 years ago. There were things I had honestly not thought about since then. And so, Seahole, I really appreciate you bringing this up. Was there anything else on this topic that you wanted to cover before we move on to last week's stats?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. This has been a pleasure, and you're welcome to come back anytime you like to shoot the shit, or if you got another idea or feedback or whatever. This stream is way more fun when it's not just me rambling, for me personally. So I definitely appreciate your time and your willingness to give feedback, and you'll definitely see some more ponder this around some of the things that we've talked about tonight. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And if you want to stick around a voice and give some color commentary to stats, feel free.
All
right. So that's wrapping up our Tales by Torchlight for this evening. We're going to move on to character population stats as reported on Excedio.net /Herald. This is data from the week ending on Sunday, November 16th. We had a slight increase in total characters logged in again. This last week, Albion had 761 characters logged in, which was a 1.06% increase over the previous week. Hibernia had 677 characters logged in, which was a 17.13% increase over the previous week. Midgard had 574 characters log in. That was a 14.11% increase over the last week for a total of 2,012 unique characters that played on Ywain, which is a 9.7% increase week over week. So it seems like the current PvP event is attracting some folks. Being able to earn the Dark Hallowed gear through it is definitely attractive as well, but it's pretty common in Discord, especially, to read, I don't like PvE or PvP. Sorry. That's okay. You don't have to go participate. There's still plenty of other things to do if you want to go to NF and PvE keeps like people do out there. But I think this is definitely showing interest in the event. I think this has been a successful one. Not over yet. You can still go play more. I'm hoping to do that this week myself. I've got a baby bone dancer I rolled just for this that I've been out there strangling cats with. So hoping to get back out there later this week. So for the top 10 RP holders of all time on Ywain, the list has not changed. They have earned some more realm points. But coming in at number 1 is, again, Zonia with 867 million realm points. Baby is number 2 at 738 million realm points. MWM is number 3 with 529 million realm points. Woo Woo Shu is number 4 with 522 million realm points. Number 5 is FYI Radar's Kills at 510 million realm points. Number 6 is Herorius with 493 million realm points. Number 7 is Raven Throne with 406 million realm points. Number 8 is Talos Frosty with 384 million realm points. Number 9 is Homelander with 370 million realm points. And wrapping it up at number 10 is Gelgad with 361 million realm points. Still got quite a few stealthers out there. Interesting to see Gelgad there on the Rune Master still at number 10. As a Rooney myself, as a main, that kind of warms my heart a little bit. Always happy to see it. For the top RPs of last week on Ywain, we had number 1 was, I'm going to butcher this, Trico Maniasi with 9.3 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11L9 Reaver. Number 2 was Certix with 9 million realm points earned on a realm rank 1209 Berserker. Number 3 was Minotaur with 8.5 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11 Scald. Number 4 was Vulcan with 8.4 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12 LO Hero. Number 5 was Medigalex with 6.9 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12 L3 Hunter. Number 6 was Mowing Fix with 6.9 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11L1 Ranger. Number 7 was Hottie IRL with 6.8 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12L3 Enchanter. Number 8 was Woo Woo SS with 6.7 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13L4 Sorcerer. Number 9 was Shromers with 5.4 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12L5 Animist. And wrapping it up at number 10 is Zonia with 5.3 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14 LO Hunter. Overall, the cutoff for top 10 was 5.3 million RPs. If it was not for the quest mechanics that were added, there's no way anybody would be hitting that high. Cable says in chat, here's an idea. Since the state of the game is lacking and so is player crafts, have NPC spellcrafters in capital cities. You can usually catch somebody to do your SCing in Discord, but if you don't ask in Discord, you're probably going to be hard to find. Up next, Ywain's top 10 kills for the week for the boys at number 1 with 510 kills, 3.3 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13 L8 healer. Number 2 was Tika Bard with 375 kills with 1.9 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13 L9 Bard. Number 3 was Sogmi with 358 kills with 2.7 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13 L5 Druid. Number 4 was Barba with 346 kills on a 4 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12 LO Rune Master. Number 5 is Extends with 337 kills with 1.4 million RPs earned on a realm rank 11 L9 healer. Number 6 is Junkie XLS with 335 kills, 994,000 realm points earned on a realm rank 14 LO healer. Number 7 is Chateaus with 326 kills, with 3.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14 LO enchanter. Number 8 was Zoo with 303 kills, 1.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14 necro. Number 9 was Divix with 292 kills, 895,000 realm points earned on a realm rank 11 L1 savage. And wrapping it up at number 10 is Mia Caxi or something like that with 286 kills, 1.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11 L4 Valkyrie. It's interesting to see that there are literally multiple hundreds of kills, but they weren't the top RP earners. And that's due to that PvE aspect of things.
Healers too.
Yep. See a lot of names from drafts. Number 10, the top 10 death blows coming in up next. You had number 1 coming in is Vulcan with 181 death blows with 8.4 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12 LO hero. Welcome in chat says it's because they don't care about potions either. I bet you can't get past 14. Are you talking about realm rank 14, Welcome, or what are you referring to there? Well, you can definitely get past it. They just have to implement it, but there's headroom in the game. The cap is 2.4 billion realm points. Well, some people might pop 100 pot at 14 if they have aspirations of keeping going up, but I feel what you're saying, though, is kind of like, why do that right now? Back to death blows. Number 2 was Phalix with 138 death blows with 5.1 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13 L1 Bellwalker. Number 3 was Chateaus with 134 death blows with 3.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14 LO Enchanter. Number 4 was Zoo with 115 death blows with 1.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14 LO Necromancer. Number 5 was Big Steppa with 88 death blows, 1.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12 LO Warlock. Number 6 was Abe Nil Sheona or something like that with 80 death blows with 2.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11 L3 Nightshade. If anybody ever wants to teach me how to say your name, DM me because I know I'm butchering these. Number 7 is Sensible with 80 death blows as well with 1.9 million RPs earned on a realm rank 12 L1 Bellwalker. Number 8 was Yusipi with 74 death blows, 867,000 realm points earned on a realm rank 10L7 Rune Master. Number 9 was Inosuke Inosuke, something like that, with 73 death blows, 2.1 million realm points on a realm rank 8L3 Berserker. And wrapping it up at number 10 was Ugly with 71 death blows, 1.8 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14LO Enchanter. Up next, we've got the top 10 solo kills on Ywain for last week. Coming at number 1 is Vulcan with 160 solo kills, 8.4 million realm points on a realm rank 12LO hero. Number 2 was Phalix with 90 solo kills, 5.1 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13L1 Veilwalker. Number 3 was Yusipi with 67 solo kills, 867,000 realm points earned on a realm rank 10L7 Rune Master. Number 4 was Chateaus with 65 solo kills, 3.2 million RPs earned on a realm rank 14LO Enchanter. Number 5 was Jolo with 61 solo kills with 2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12L8 Shadowblade. Number 6 was Abel something with 59 solo kills, 2.2 million realm points on a realm rank 11L3 Nightshade. Number 7 was Dragon Spike with 58 solo kills, 2.1 million realm points earned on a realm rank 9L5 Paladin. Number 8 was QQU with 49 solo kills, with 1 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13L2 Nightshade. Thanks for the raid, Braz Mars. Appreciate it. Yo. Number 9 was Antonius Proximo with 42 solo kills with a 1.6 million RPs on a realm rank 14LO Mercenary. And number 10 was Zonia on 38 solo kills with 5.3 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14LO Hunter. So even though Zonia is the number 1 RP leader all time, still out there, even still doing some 1v1s on occasion. It's interesting to see there's tanks, hybrids, casters, stealth, even across here. It's a little bit different than what we've seen in the past, where it was more not archer, but stealthers kind of dominating. And you got Vulcan out there at number 1 again. And then moving on, we have the top 10 deaths of last week. Got to have somebody out there to kill, right? Coming in at number 1 is Nanasa or something, with 272 deaths last week, with 1.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 8L3 Eldritch. Number 2 was Chateaus with 141 deaths with 3.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14LO Enchanter. Number 3 was Dero with 119 deaths, 4.3 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11L5 Hunter. Number 4 was Giulietti with 111 deaths with 1.2 million realm points earned on a realm rank 6L7 Infiltrator. Number 8 was Busy Mortal with 108 deaths with 2.9 million realm points earned on a realm rank 13L2 Scout. Number 6 was Duke Nukem with 105 deaths, 913,000 realm points earned on a realm rank 12L9 Rune Master. Number 7 was Antonius Proximo with 96 deaths, 1.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14LO Mercenary. Number 8 was Alvital with 94 deaths with 1.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 14LO Mercenary. I'm sorry, on a realm rank 11L5 Berserker. Got confused there. Number 9 was Tikabard with 87 deaths, 1.9 million realm points on a realm rank 13L9 Bard. And wrapping it up at number 10 is Vulcan, 85 deaths, 8.4 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12LO Hero. That makes sense. Vulcan's out there just snogging fights every which way he can. He's got to die eventually sometime, right? All right, now we're moving on to the top 10 guilds of all time on Ywain. At number 1, we have Legend with their staggering 7.251 billion realm points from Albion. It's all run overs, never 1v1 deaths. I would never expect any less, Vulcan, but you got to feed the food chain, right? Number 2, from Hibernia is Heater Devolves with 6.7 billion realm points. Number 3, from Midgard is Asatruar with 5.1 billion realm points. Number 4, also from Midgard, is Barons of Brutality with 4.3 billion realm points. Number 5 is Legendary Angels, also from Midgard, with 3.7 billion realm points. Number 6 is Chaotic Incarnation with 3.4 billion realm points, also of Midgard. Number 7, back over to Albion, is Fellowship of Albion with 3.1 billion realm points. Number 8, also from Albion, is Shadow Brothers with 3.0 billion realm points. Number 9 is from Midgard again, Last Line with 2.9 billion realm points. And then wrapping it up at number 10 is Upon a Pale Horse from Albion with 2.9 billion realm points. These are the same 10 guilds that it was last week and the week before. The numbers just keep inching up for most of them. The nice thing is most of these had a shitload of realm points earned from actual player kills. We did some analysis on that last week. There were very few in the top 10 that were from the Great RP giveaway. And the top 10 guilds of last week on Ywain from a realm point earning perspective, you got number 1 coming in with Legend, again from Albion, with 20 million realm points earned. Number 2 is November with 14 million realm points earned from Hibernia. Number 3 is Ymir from Midgard with 14.2 million realm points earned last week. Number 4 from Albion is Lashant Diariak or something like that with 12.4 million realm points earned last week. Number 5 is Unclaimed from Hibernia with 12.2 million realm points earned. Number 6 is Gherkin Troop with 10 million realm points earned from Midgard. Dark Unknown says, throw some respect on that number 2 guild with only 2 members. Yeah. Yep. The Great RP giveaway. That's why I specifically looked at it last week, because I wanted to highlight. I didn't have enough time this week because of life, but I will probably do it at least once a month where we look at a breakdown of who earned it from kills and who earned it from PvE on Ywain. Number 7 is Decima Moss, 9.3 million RPs earned from Albion. Number 8 from Midgard is Zentarum with 9 million realm points earned. Number 9 was Laguerre's de Nazareth with 7.5 million realm points from Hibernia, and rounded it up with number 10. Also from Hibernia was Fat Kid Pickers with 7.5 million realm points earned. Reek says mostly kills of ponies. Welcome said that was me and Dark only and mostly kills. November the best guild in Hib. It's nice to see multiple millions being out there. People are just being busy. It's been a good event in the PvP side of the house. It's been nice seeing players out there killing each other. Up next, we have Gaheris. You know, the place where you're supposed to PvE for realm points, that place. Top 10 RPs of last week. is number 1 is Teeny Thing with 123 million RPs on a realm rank 14 LO Enchanter. Number 2 is Tiny Thing with 123 million realm points on a realm rank 14 Enchanter. Number 3 is Little Thing, also with 123 million realm points on another realm rank 14 Enchanter. Number 4 was Teeny Thing instead of I instead of A, also with 123 million realm points on a realm rank 14 Enchanter. And then Tiny Thing, number 5, wrapping it up with 123 million realm points on a realm rank 14 Enchanter.
That only counts as one person, all 5 of those.
It is one person most likely playing a team, but it's Gaheris. That's what they do, right? And I just feel sorry for whoever's wife that is. Number 6 is Charm Farm with 22 million realm points earned on a realm rank 12 LO Necromancer. Number 7 was David Dickus Ray with 5.6 million realm points earned on a 13 L4 Reaver. Number 8 was Lupala with 3.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 8 L6 Paladin. Number 9 was Maldamian with 2.9 million realm points earned on a realm rank 11 L3 Necromancer. And number 10 was Charmtworks with 2.6 million realm points earned on a realm rank 7 L9 Paladin. Dark says, I went to school with a David Dickus. But was it Biggest? All right. And then up next for Gaheris, we take a look at the max cap realm rank 14 RP holders. It is the same 43 tunes that it has been for quite some time now, since the first Lilith event went in and let us just absolutely explode. I'm not going to read all the names because that's a lot and it hasn't changed, and we've been going over this every week for a little while now, but all 43 of these tunes are at the cap of realm points you can earn in Daok, which is 2,147,483,647 realm points. You could get to there someday on Ywain too. It will just take a while. I want to say that was like 530 effugent seals or something like that you had to turn in on Gaheris when I did it on mine. It's a shitload of seals to turn in over there. And then we also have the top 10 RPs on Gaheris that are not capped. These folks are the top 10 that did not cap their tunes out. Implode is at number 44 with 1 billion realm points. He was one of the first people on the server. Sheb was another that hit over 1 billion realm points. Demi-War is at 45. All these are realm rank 14s on a Savage. Number 46 is Swiffy. On a Scald, number 47 was Drew David Ray on an Enchanter. Tonka is number 48 with his Wizard. Sensation is 49 with their Valkyrie. 50 is Truscu on his Healer. Number 51 was Tonka again on his Chanter. 52 is Explode on his Spirit Master. And rounded up at 53 was Grimtooth on their Warrior. And up next we have, hey sweetie, what's up, Carbug? You want to say hi? You want to come over here and say hi so they can see?
Hi.
My slight little distraction.
I wasn't distracting you.
You're not distracting me? Are you sure?
Yeah, sure. I'm not.
Are you ever going to play Dark Age of Camelot with me, or are you going to leave me playing by myself?
Don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Up next, we have the top 10 guilds of all time on Gaheris. Same list of guilds as last week. Some of the RPs have increased a tad. But coming in at number 1 is Tonka with Tonka's team with 29 billion realm points. Number 2 is Demigods with 24 billion realm points. Number 3 is Falls on Me with 22.127 billion realm points. Number 4 is Catalyst with 22.116 billion realm points. Number 5 is Fun with 20.145 billion realm points. Number 6 is Danish Huskarls with 19.9 billion realm points. Number 7 is Angels of Death with 18.1 billion realm points. Number 8 is Survivors with 14.7 billion realm points. Number 9 is Juggernaut with 14.0 billion realm points. And wrapping it up at number 10 is Grace with 10.6 billion realm points. And then the top 10 guilds of last week on Gaheris. We had coming in on number 1 is here Comte de Son with 615 million realm points earned. Number 2 was Novus Era with 27 million realm points earned. Number 3 was Danish Huskarls with 6.6 million realm points earned. Number 4 was Norsk Fabane with 5.6 million realm points earned. Number 5 was 796,000 realm points was Drunken Disorderly. Number 6 with 401,000 realm points earned was Legacy of the Dragon. Number 7 was Survivors with 309,000 realm points earned. Number 8 was Demon Crusaders with 134,000 realm points earned. Number 9 was Tirnanog Adventurers with 84,000 realm points earned. And number 10 is Blackheart Pirates with 40,000 realm points earned. And then that wraps up this week's latest stats as reported by Excedio. It Be Lost says starter guild represent. Yeah, somebody was out there doing something. And they've been around for a while because I don't think new characters join starter guilds anymore. They might on Gaheris. I know they don't on Ywain. But up next, this is a community spotlight we did a few weeks ago, but I think it's one that matters, so I'm going to repeat it. This list was as of November 9th. I have not collected data in the last week since then, since this last aired, but I wanted to highlight who else actually streams live Dark Age of Camelot. All of these people have been live on Twitch within the last 90 days. And you're probably going to see quite a few soloers on here. You'll see some other folks as well, like myself, who suck but still love the game. But up first, we've got Andy at twitch.tv/AndyXDayoc, Bloodcore at twitch.tv/TheBloodcore, Claustra PBAOEIA at twitch.tv/CLAUSTROPBAOEIA. We got Dalton at twitch.tv/Dalton DALTON98_. You've got Divix at twitch.tv/DIVOXZY. You got Evil over at twitch.tv/EvilDead, EVYLDEAD. You've got Expired Angel at twitch.tv/EXSPIREDANGEL. You've got Harmon over at twitch.tv/Harmon with 2 N's _GB. You got Justin over at twitch.tv/JustinXMALI. You got Clocked over at twitch.tv/ClockedQQ. That's KLOCKEDQQ. Linnell at twitch.tv/LINELELOLZ. And you've got Nerf This with 4 eyes over at twitch.tv/NERFTHIIIIS. We got Augie over at twitch.tv/OGGY_AU. You got myself, Pronder, over at twitch.tv/PronderNor. You got Sleepy over at twitch.tv/SleepyTunes, SleepyTunes. You got Stream Stupid over at twitch.tv/StreamStupid, with stupid being spelled STOOPID. You've got Ty over at twitch.tv/THAI_gaming. You've got The Sneak at twitch.tv/TheSneak021. You've got Toe Jams at twitch.tv/ToeJams_DAOC. You got Vicomtessa over at twitch.tv/VICOMTESSA. You've got the one and only Volcom over at twitch.tv/VULKYM. And the angry gremlin himself, you got Zerov over at twitch.tv/ZYEROV. These are folks that love this game enough to show you what they're doing. Some of these people, like Volcom, you see on the top 10s every week. Others of these people, like myself, you see me on streams like this, but not a lot of other stuff because my playtimes are completely fucking random. And like you saw earlier, I get random visitors from little people. But I do what I can. You've got some folks over on EU time zone, all over the US. Some decent representation time-wise. There was actually a lot more people streaming than I realized when I started doing this list. I thought maybe I would find 10 people, and I had over double what I expected. But right now, these are the people, not just characters, but the people that are the pulse of live Dayak. Whether they're soloing, whether they're small manning, whether they're just chilling, whether you're blood core just saying, fuck it, I'm just killing doppels all day, whatever the case may be. These are the people that consistently represent the live game. And anything that we can do to draw more people to this game, the better off all of our players are going to be. I hope to see this list grow over time. You have some folks that are PvP lovers. You've got some that are PvE, some casual, some competitive. It's proof to me that Dayak's heartbeat really is the people. And it's the people that play the game, that share the game with others. After all, this is an MMO. And even for the ones on this list that are soloers, if you will, they still depend on other people to play. They got to have somebody to kill. They got to have somebody to go farm the shit that they don't want to farm. So they give them a game time code so they don't have to go get it. All of this still requires dependence on other people in an MMO. And that is one of the things we are lacking is the M. We're not massive anymore. We're more minority or minor or tiny as the Gaheris team was. We need that to change. We need that to grow. And one of the best ways we can do that is by helping each other and by streaming more. So if you haven't yet, drop them a follow. Tune into one of their streams if you see it. Support the folks who help keep Live Dayak visible on Twitch. A lot of them also make YouTube videos and post there, because the more people who see Dayak live is still here, the stronger our game is going to be. These are not archive channels. These are people that are actively streaming. It is a very small, niche, tight-knit community that we need to grow. But we grow that through people like this. These are the faces that make the game real to other players. So support them, share them, and help make Dayak shine just a little bit brighter. And with that, that's our community spotlights. If you've got comments, suggestions, shit you hate, whatever, I have a Google form you can throw your feces at http://sotgideas.prondernor.com. If you want me to talk about something, if you want me to research something, if you want to be a guest, that is the best way to do that, because that will save whatever it was that you thought, and it won't get lost in Discord tells or anything like that. Anything that you want to talk about, if you want to come on stream, we can do chats in Twitch. We can do a voice guest like we did today with Seahole. We could do video guests as well. Whatever floats your boat, that's cool. We can figure it out together. Something else that we have the ability to do now, Carol put it in a couple of weeks ago, right before the 24th anniversary, but we are doing the audio portion of this in the stream chat channel of the official Dark Age of Camelot Discord. It's a special type of channel called a stage, and what that means is that whoever is hosting the stage can invite other people and to speak, so that if someone wants to pop on the stream and talk about whatever, they can, but it still gives a slight bit of control over it, because the host can control who is actually able to speak. If you see that channel live, you're more than welcome to join it. You can raise your hand and ask to speak. If you just want to join in on Discord and listen instead of trying to watch it on Twitch or something, you can do that too. But the main reason that it was there, because we wanted a place for people that were streaming that wanted to have a little bit better way to have some audience interaction, to give them that platform. I'm probably going to talk about this more in the future, about things that we can do, but definitely it's been nice for me, because I don't have to go reconfigure the snot out of OBS every time I go live. I just pointed at Discord, double checked that OBS hasn't lost a couple of settings, which it did today. We got that up and running, but it makes it a lot quicker and a lot easier to host things. Now with that, I'm wrapping it up with my spiel. Was there anything else you wanted to say, Seahole, before we wrap it up?
No. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. This was a great chat, and glad to have you here. Thanks for everybody hanging out in chat. And the raid earlier was awesome. That was cool to see. I think that's only the second time I've ever been raided in the 5 years that I've been streaming off and on, because I'm a very small audience, but that was cool. And with that, you guys have a good week, and I will catch you later. Hit me up on Discord if you are of the persuasion. Thanks, everybody.